Hey guys, welcome back to Trekyards. I'm Captain Foley.
I'm Connor Coggins, and we're looking at Discovery episode 10 again. But you know
Yes.
that because that's what we do when these shows come out.
Should we mirror our image?
No.
Should we?
Nope.
No.
No gimmicks in this one. Just want to do good, honest dissection of new things, cool new things.
Cool. New things. All right.
Shiny even.
Shiny.
There you go.
That's right. Okay, so we're looking at Mirror Universe costumes today, uniforms. And
Yes.
there were some pretty fantastic ones that we saw. I got to say, I'm really impressed with them. And wow.
And
Shiny.
says it. And it's interesting, someone's pointed out to me literally before I started filming that in After Trek they confirmed this is the same Mirror Universe from Enterprise. So there is they've again once again established this is meant to be the full continuity of that, which again puts in certain interesting things. But because we're so far from that point and anything can happen, this was so cool. I think we both were pretty much like, wow guys, great job with all the Mirror Universe stuff. And the first thing we saw that was new uniform was the captain's armor, and as you can see there are two variations, which was interesting. There's the Tilly full breast, I guess, both in that makes sense, and then the Burnham half, which is similar to the other uniforms, but she's also captain in it. So did you notice the difference, and what do you think about them? Because there's other differences as well, actually, if you break it down.
Yeah, I didn't notice the difference initially, but it is quite interesting that the Tilly full breast, if you will.
It's breastplate.
I did not notice the difference though until they were side by side, which is interesting. Now there could be Mirror Universe is pretty much personal taste kind of thing. There's no real uniform per se, because the different sash variations and things we've seen before. It's more of a unique thing. So I really don't have a problem with that at all, and I like both of these. They're both fantastic. There's probably other different captains variations as well. Maybe the other way, angling the other way.
Well, well, it's interesting though. Double down that. Look at the base comparison. Tilly, she has a neckline. She has a cleavage part of armor. Burnham is super. That's another distinct difference. But if it's personal, then Burnham is a very.
Burnham's is more like the male variation of it, because we saw Connor's captain's uniform, which was the same.
He's just
more
missing
like a male uniform.
He's just missing that top line of braiding. But yeah, exactly. It's like.
Yeah.
But
and I love the
different captains.
Exactly. I do love the belt and the sidearm. The holster is very cool. I really like those styles of holsters, and to incorporate that was really cool. And the daggers are super cool. They're still the standard Mirror Universe dagger, but with some cool little additions and shiny.
Because this is one of those things where they kept more consistent with canon, and so it looks and feels better. Like the gold, if you look at, and we'll go to that in a minute, Kirk's stuff is gold, and then there's very easy precedence for a lot of this stuff. They're pulling directly from what came before, and the dagger is almost one for one, but, the 80 years later version, which is what we should be seeing. But no, it's interesting how, and you point out the sash stuff, where these versions we have tactical, attachments for the belts, and it seems to be a double belt situation, but Burnham's wearing it differently. For Stargate Atlantis, if when you're a costumer, your gut says to attach the holster to the tactical vest belt. But actually, they had two belts, the pistol belt and the tactical vest, because if you want to take the tactical vest off, you don't need to take the pistol belt off. You don't need to take the pistol off. So one is for the pistol, one is for the different plates. That's interesting, and it's interesting they've worn them differently. But certainly having a holster works a lot better in this universe than the tac vest in the Discovery, because they just velcro it to their wherever you say just the hip in the TOS. But overall beautiful, and having this differentiate lowers with captains, it's such a ornate yet feels functional in a sense of like it's just armor. It's not stopping you. It's not limiting you.
Yeah. And one of the vibes I got when I watched this too was that it does seem a lot thicker and it does seem like armor almost, like covering vital organs if you get shot from a distance or try to be stabbed. I mean, it is actually armor. I mean, in TOS, they don't really have that. It's more just fabric-y.
They have a lack of a
But-
lot of things, especially the ladies. I mean, it's just like barely anything. Which is
Yeah.
worth noting that unlike Enterprise and TOS, these women do not have midriffs showing. But I expect to see midriffs on lower crew members because that exists in both versions of the other universe.
That's true. That is true. Yeah.
And this is not probably a spore ship, so it should just be another ship of the fleet. But I guess maybe Tilly's like, sorry, Killy's like, no girls be showing midriff on my deck. We stab the women's who do. I don't know where I'm going with that, but it's cool. And another little thing to notice is that on their the hands we can see they're also wearing a gold ring on top of leather, full length with gloves. So I mean, it is almost full black, but the gold just pops. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, which actually does link back to the NX-01 having the gold trim on the top, which I hadn't considered until right now.
Oh, yeah.
They had gold accenting. Again, that's the canon. You link to the canon that feels better. Use what you've got.
You guys, don't you feel better now that you've designed something that links back to canon? Yeah, you do. You know you do.
Yeah. So that was those uniforms. Let's look at the standard
Yes.
crewman uniforms.
These are very cool as well. Really, again, they have more of an armor kind of vibe to them. And I do like the colors. I do like the gold, or it's more almost like a.
Oh, it's a bronzy.
It's a darker gold, yeah, not quite bronze.
Yeah.
But I do like that accent with the black. I think these uniforms are amazing uniforms, and I want one. This is something I would cosplay as for sure.
It's not Star Trek, but it's a tremendous uniform, or a piece of clothing, because you know it's less show than the gold, but has that exact sense. The armor is leather, so it's armor, but it's not really armor, but it has the same feel. Everything's just toned down, but still bulky and still it's a really cool. Have the dagger there, and how the guy on the right has his belt hung down low, doesn't really care. Yeah, it's nice, and it's I'm glad. Well, although to be fair, if you really look at it, it is actually still the Discovery uniform because they've still got the side stripes and the bottom stripes, or the side, like there is still piping like Discovery. They obviously don't have the deltas on the side because there are no deltas in this timeline. So I'm glad there's obviously Discovery alternates. That it's just piping all the way down, which works really well, but it still has a sense of Discovery for it. But
and I like the biker gloves with the no fingers. Very functional gloves, so cool.
Yeah, I also think that if you go back one step, I think Tilly actually has leather shoulder pieces, arm pieces, but these two people have fabric. So it's like every piece of material that was the level above is now lowered a level, you know.
Yeah, and it's worth noting too that on their right arm they have like armor, and we've seen that a lot, like with knights, and like knights had reinforcement on one side because of the way they would duel, especially in knife fights.
Yep. And
because they do carry these daggers all the time, that's very interesting that the side facing their opponent would have that. I never noticed that till looking at these pictures. So,
also you take the dagger out, then you block, and then you stab, block, and stab. No, it's great. Yeah. Cool. Well, speaking of dagger, next shot is the close-up that I was able to point out. And it's just a more metal, more...
I like my version.
Yeah. We can't see the blade of this one particularly well, but it's close enough. Good job.
Yeah, well, they maintain that standard shape, you know, and it's a interesting shape. It's always been a Mirror Universe thing. It's never changed at all from TOS to Enterprise to this. It's just a staple, and it's really well done. So good job.
I do like the red planet on it. It feels very non-functional because as soon as you get to that point, the wound is going to start to have that's kind of weird, but it pops.
Yeah, especially against the black armor or the black uniforms.
It might be just Discovery's need to put deltas everywhere, that they're putting their version, the planet. But thank God there isn't a knife logo on the knife, because that would be dumb. The planet actually kind of works, but thank God it wasn't there equivalent to a delta on the delta.
I got a knife on mine.
Oh. Yeah, but yours is small though. Yours is branding. No, it's dumb too. But yours is yours is ornamental. The whole thing, because it's nice and.
Yeah, because I added the gold and the copper. Make it, because they've always been all silver, which really always kind of bugged me. But
yours is the captain's version, you know.
Admiral Foley, remember?
Well, that's how you became admiral.
Cha-cha. All right, moving right along. This next shot is great because it shows the mirror universe from Enterprise, Discovery, and TOS in chronological order. And
now it is worth saying these are the all captain versions, because in Enterprise there was no variation of captain to not. So there's female and male, but they did just use the Enterprise uniforms and put some stuff on it, which I love. I think it really adds them to the uniform. But yeah, captain to captain to captain, because as we know, normal ranks don't have Kirk's unique feel. But we'll go with captain first. So this is the evolution of the captain version of the uniform. Is there a sense of evolution? Does it? I mean, what do you think?
Visually, they do all kind of tie into each other. I mean, with Captain Archer there, you've got the band across, and that translates into the design of the Discovery Era one. Yep. And then of course Kirk, you got the wrap, which has the same shape again, and the sash on Kirk mirrors, pardon the pun, the Discovery gold belt that we see there. So yes, I do see a visual continuity here. They kind of got way more ornamental in TOS era, though. A little bit flashier with the material and stuff. So,
but also a little more relaxed because he's, less. I mean, a paper cut can now affect his shoulders, his arms, whereas wearing the dude's leather, you couldn't. But it's interesting you mentioned how they link. I mean, if you look, and I never noticed this before, the TOS, they've got this braiding at the top. Or NX-01, they've got lapels on the top, or epaulets, whatever they're called. That's a piece, and it visually ties in. Okay, not so much in the Discovery, but they have got the shoulder pieces, which has a visual tie-in to the flat top. And obviously, you've got the holster on the belt for NX-01, holster on the thigh, and a holster on the belt is not that's not as efficient. I don't find personally in airsofting. I don't like that. I like the leg holster, and that certainly. I mean, we said this for a lot of the time. Discovery is a totally valid Enterprise sequel. It's just a piss poor TOS prequel. So if you look at those two, you could see they went from workaday clothes to Imperial armor of the galaxy, ornamental, flashier, and then I guess TOS is more the he's so powerful, doesn't have to worry about it. Or I guess he's got his guards now, because I didn't get a sense they had personal guards in Discovery verse. Maybe Kirk's got his guards around him instead. Doesn't need to be armed in the same way. I don't know.
It's just casual Friday, the day they showed up at the Mirror Universe in TOS.
Well, speaking of, if we jump to the next picture, is again, NX doesn't change between different ranks, but this is the crew members version, because we saw that McCoy just wore the sash, but a full normal uniform. So it was just uniform plus sash. How does this work, do you think?
Not as well. I mean, well, it does in a sense, because the Discovery one has the regular Discovery uniform with the striping down the side and everything. And same with the TOS. They're using the standard TOS uniforms. Just with the addition of the sash or the belt to really make it pop. And I think this actually works fairly well then as a tie-in, because it is similar. The only thing I would have liked to see is kind of something on McCoy, like a strap or some kind of striping on the uniform maybe. But yeah, I think that's fine.
And in fact, the Enterprise or the Discovery to NX works better now, because it has that single visual stripe that flows a little better now than the full gold. That works a bit better. And then McCoy, having the belt, having the weapon right there, links in reasonably well as well. So yeah, it's certainly not, and obviously having the badge in the right place and stuff. There is. It's interesting how there is, obviously we could be reaching whatever, but you've got to assume that the people who designed these things looked back and said, how do we take these visual cues? And there certainly are visual cues, and we love the uniforms, but if you really look at them, and yes, obviously reaching, you can still see things. But you noticed something, Stuart, and I'll let you take the next picture and explain.
Well, I noticed that there's a PS2 game called Shattered Universe.
And on Xbox, that's how I played it.
And on Xbox. And it's a Mirror Universe story as well, with Sulu and Chekhov, but in the movie era. So the movie era versions of the uniforms. And I just off when I first saw it on Discovery, I thought they were much more closer resembling these uniforms. Looking side by side now, they are a little bit different, but we still get the same kind of black leather tie-in. Even the one arm seems to be protected, and the gold connection piece looks very similar to the stripe that goes all the way down on the Discovery one, visually. And then the addition of the sash, of course, and of course the standard Mirror Universe dagger that everyone has to have. It never changes design. There it is. So I thought they were a little closer when I just watched Discovery. I was remembering back. Now seeing the picture, there is quite a bit of difference. But then again, these are movie era, so this is a progression in the timeline yet again in the Mirror Universe. And you can see a tie-in, I think, with the Discovery era ones here a little bit, with the colors and just the materials.
And obviously this video game is not canon, we're not trying to say that, but if it were to be canon, they would be saying that all of our characters and all of the, the refit era looks exactly the same as the refit era does in the normal universe. So whatever happens in Discovery has to double back into the Prime, because there's two Mirror Universe stories that, Mirror, obviously this. But yeah, it's interesting that you point this out. This is the only other Mirror Universe, big visual thing I remember. Obviously there's big comics, but they go every which way. This one, they went for the black route. Take the red. What do you do to make Mirror? Ton of black. And that's exactly what Discovery did. We're going to make it all black. And you're right. If you just connected the gold, and this is before Enterprise, obviously this uniform. If you had connected the gold to the strap, to the sash, sorry, that would be like visual tie-in with everything. I mean, that would be really close. So yeah, great note. And maybe they went to Shadow Mirror and said, hey, let's look at this. All went black. Let's try and black with red. Black with gold accenting works really well.
I just thought it was worth pointing out.
Yeah. So which picture should we end on this, Jay? What was your favourite version of the uniform? Because there's a couple here.
I'd say the two captains from Discovery. I love I just love me some Tilly. I'm just tongue-tied. Hi, Tilly. Anyway. Well, hopefully she won't kill me. But anyway. Did you guys like the new Discovery Mirror Universe take on things? Did you like the look? Is that something that... what changes would you make? I mean, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Put them in the comments down below. As always, we love reading them and love, your input. So don't forget to like the video also and share it around. And if you want to help us out, you definitely can do that in another way besides sharing.
Yes. One-time donation at trekyards.com. A little bit of bunts, a little bit of dollars does go a long way. Or a regular donation, on the Patreon, it's like a regular thank you, helping us keep this show, all the stuff going. Head over to Patreon/Trekyards and give a little bit each and every month to support what we do, or just tell your friends, because like Stuart said, sharing is so important, because we do, all these graphics, all this is done to show you, as we said, we call out the good, call out the bad, and show it with visual proof. We're just using what's there and looking at it in a special way. Because most of the time, you're not going to Netflix and freeze frame and then look at it for 15 minutes and say, this but we do the work for you. And there you see it all nice and in front of you. So, yeah, if you enjoy it, then support us.
That's right. So until next time, where we have another bit of Discovery awesomeness, because there's lots to look at, especially based on this episode, we will be back with that. Until then, I am Captain Foley. I didn't go Admiral for this one, so... Captain Foley.
But we're outside the Mirror Universe looking in, otherwise we'd be like, the uniforms, they're just everyday attire. And I am Commander Cookins. We'll see you tomorrow.
That's right. Bye, guys.
Bye.